Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, His Highness the Emir and the custodian of the two holy mosques meet in Riyadh for talks which reflected the strength of Kuwaiti-Saudi relations and the will to foster the GCC. One policeman is killed and 3 others are wounded after gunmen attacked a checkpoint near Cairo. Police in Denmark kill a gunman responsible for a pair of deadly attacks. And the UN Security Council draft resolution urges Houthi rebels to cede power in Yemen. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and his official accompanying delegation returned home this evening after paying a fraternal visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His Highness was received at the airport by His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem, His Excellency the Deputy Chief of the National Guard Sheikh Mish'al Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, His Excellency the Minister of Emir Diwan Affairs Sheikh Nasser Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah, and Cabinet members. His Highness the Emir was accompanied by an official delegation comprising of His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Mohammed Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak Al Sabah, the Minister of Finance Anas Khalid Al Saleh, the Minister of Oil and Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs Dr. Ali Saleh Al Amir, the Director of His Highness the Emir's Office Ahmed Fahd Al Fahd, the Head of Emir Protocol and Ceremony Sheikh Khalid Al Abdullah Al Sabah Al Nasr Al Sabah, the Foreign Undersecretary Khalid Sulaiman Al Jarallah, and the Head of Media and Cultural Affairs at the Emir Diwan Yusuf Hamad Al Rumi. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, expressing his deep thanks and appreciation for the warm reception and hospitality accorded to him and the accompanying delegation during His Highness's brotherly visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His Highness the Emir expressed deep pleasure at the brotherly meeting with the custodian of the two holy mosques, which was dominated by a cordial and fraternal spirit and reflected the strength of the historic and distinct relations that bind together the two countries and peoples. It also reflected their keenness to foster the march of the Gulf Cooperation Council. His Highness the Emir wished the custodian of the two holy mosques all the best of health and strength and everlasting prosperity for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and its honourable people under his wise leadership. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah met in Riyadh this afternoon with the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, on the occasion of his current brotherly visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The two leaders exchanged fraternal conversation which reflected the strength of the historic and cordial relations between the leadership, government and people of the State of Kuwait with the leaders and people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and their mutual desire to further consolidate those relations in all domains. They also expressed their will to bolster the Gulf Cooperation Council in the manner that promotes their mutual interest in the framework of the historical ties among the GCC countries and the keenness to fulfill the aspirations of their peoples. They also discussed a number of issues of mutual interest at the regional and international levels. The meeting was attended by His Royal Highness Prince Migran bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, the Crown Prince and Deputy Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince to the Crown Prince, the Second Deputy Premier, and the Minister of Interior, as well as their Royal Highnesses the Princes. The meeting was also attended by His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah and members of the official delegation accompanying His Highness the Emir. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, hosted a luncheon in honour of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and his official accompanying delegation on the occasion of His Highness's brotherly visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and his official accompanying delegation arrived in Riyadh, the capital of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, this afternoon on a brotherly visit. His Highness was received at the airport by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness Prince Migran bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Deputy Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Naif bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince to the Crown Prince, the Second Deputy Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Governor of Riyadh, their Royal Highnesses the Princes, Cabinet members, senior Saudi officials and Ambassador of the State of Kuwait to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Thamir Jaber Al Ahmed Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and his official accompanying delegation left Riyadh this afternoon, heading back to Kuwait following a brotherly visit. His Highness was received at the airport by His Royal Highness Prince Migran bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Deputy Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Governor of Riyadh, as well as their Royal Highnesses, the Princes, Cabinet members and senior officials in the Saudi government and Kuwait's Ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Thamir Jaber Al Ahmed Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and his official accompanying delegation left Kuwait at noon today for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on a brotherly visit. His Highness was seen off at the airport by His Highness the Deputy Emir and Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanim, His Excellency the Deputy Chief of the National Guard Sheikh Mish'al Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Nasser Al Muhammad Al Ahmed Al Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mubarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, His Excellency the Minister of Emir Diwan Affairs Sheikh Nasser Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah and Cabinet members. His Highness the Emir is accompanied by an official delegation comprised of His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Muhammad Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Mubarak Al Sabah, the Minister of Finance Anas Khalid Al Saleh, the Minister of Oil and Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs Dr. Ali Saleh Al Amir, the Director of His Highness the Emir's Office Ahmed Fahd Al Fahd, the Head of Emir Protocol and Ceremonies Sheikh Khalid Al Abdullah Al Sabah Al Nasr Al Sabah, the Foreign Under Secretary Khalid Sulaiman Al Jarallah, and the Head of Media and Cultural Affairs at the Emir Diwan Yusuf Hamad Al Rumi. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received this morning at the Emiri Airport His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah. His Highness also received at the Emir Airport His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanim. His Highness the Emir then received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mubarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at the Emiri Airport this morning His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanim. His Highness the Crown Prince also received at the Emiri Airport His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mubarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness then received His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince also received His Excellency the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Muhammad Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness then received His Excellency the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Al Jarrah Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah also received at the Emiri Airport this morning His Excellency the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Sabah Al Salim Al Mahmoud Al Sabah. His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mubarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, received in the presence of His Excellency the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence Lieutenant General Sheikh Khalid Al Jarrah Al Sabah at Bayan Palace today the Army Chief of Staff in the Italian Defence Ministry Admiral Luigi Pennelli and his accompanying delegation on the occasion of his official visit to the country. Unidentified gunmen have reportedly opened fire on a traffic police vehicle in the Nile Delta town of Banha in Egypt, killing a police officer and injuring 3 more. According to the report, authorities have launched an investigation into the fatal attack to identify the assailants. Many of the serious attacks on Egyptian security forces have been claimed by a Sinai-based group called Soldiers of Egypt, as well as an allegedly IS-linked group. Meanwhile, local media outlets reported another armed attack on a police vehicle on Saturday on a road north of the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Additionally, 2 bombs were detonated at a train station between Cairo and the city of Alexandria, causing major delays in the area's rail traffic. In light of the current Israeli elections, a series of hard-hitting statements by several Israeli officials unfolded strong possibilities of launching a new war on Gaza. More with Majd al-Wahidi from Gaza.
Several Israeli sources confirmed that Israel's Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman claimed that Israel would inevitably have to fight a future operation against Gaza, adding that Hamas is already rebuilding its military capacities. Lieberman, who aspires to take over the Department of Defense in the next Israeli government, also said that Israel must fight against its enemies every 2 years and that the next battle is only a matter of time.
The Israeli threats are related to their elections, but in all cases, Gaza is ready to fight and defend itself. We say to the international community that it should force the Israelis to put down their weapons instead of pushing us to stop our right of resistance.
On the other hand, the Israeli former Chief of Staff Yoav Gallant said in media statements that if he was appointed as a minister in the new government, his priority would be a new war against Gaza. Political analysts say that such threats are because of the current Israeli elections.
Israeli threats against the Gaza Strip from Israeli Minister Avigdor Lieberman and other Israeli generals, Gallant, is intended to for Israeli internal consumption. Israel is in the middle of an election campaign, and Israeli cabinet ministers are competing against each other by escalating the tension with the Gaza Strip and threatening Gaza with a much more destructive war.
Well, I think the threats made by some Israeli officials to launch a new war on the Gaza Strip, these statements made as part of the election campaign, as the Israeli election would be next month. So the right-wing political parties would have to make such statements to win the votes in the Israeli side. And I don't think that they will launch any war in Gaza, at least in this year. This is because of the situation.
The latest war, known as Operation Protective Edge, finished before 6 months. Yet scenes of devastation and misery are still present. With no reconstruction and an increasing unemployment and poverty in the already thinly besieged enclave, Gazans are not ready for a new round of destruction.
Everybody knows that the Israeli elections might be used as a pretext to launch another attack on Gaza. However, the fragile peace is already broken, and Israel needs no excuse to start another war. Majd al-Wahidi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
Police in Copenhagen say they have shot dead a man they believe was behind 2 deadly attacks in the Danish capital hours earlier. Police said they killed the man in the Nørrebro district after he opened fire on them. It came after 1 person was killed and 3 police officers injured at a free speech debate in a cafe yesterday. In the second attack, a man was killed and 2 police officers wounded near the city's main synagogue. The UN Security Council is considering a resolution on Yemen that would urge the Houthi rebels to step down, release ousted President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi and his cabinet, and engage in a UN-led peace talks. The diplomats said that the resolution fell short of evoking Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, allowing for military enforcement. On Saturday, thousands of Yemenis protested in the central town of Ib against the Houthi movement as Houthi gunmen fired and wounded 4 protesters. Meanwhile, fighting continues between Houthi rebels and tribesmen in southern Yemen. Fighting in East Ukraine has subsided but not stopped since the ceasefire came into effect. Spokesmen for both the government and the pro-Russian rebels said some shelling had continued mainly around the besieged town of Debsatlev. But both sides say the truce that came into effect at midnight is largely holding. Fierce battles raged near the Debsatlev, a key transport hub, in the hours leading up to the truce. The International Relations Club, or the IRC, at the American University of Kuwait's organization of the 3-day event continues. The Liberation Village Exposium included a second symposium that was presented by former Kuwaiti military POWs who shared their experience of the 1990 invasion of Kuwait. The aim for the Liberation Village 2015 is to be more involved in youth intelligence and production and to increase awareness about international relations. Here is more in this report by Salim Al-Kindari.
The International Relations Club IRC at the American University of Kuwait organized a 3-day event titled the Liberation Village Exposium. The final ceremony was attended by Head of the Public Authority for Youth and Sports, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Mansour Al-Sabah, and a number of other officials.
Today's lecture was all about soccer and sports and how it's implemented in Kuwait, the problems that they're facing, and how they became champions and what affected them and who's supporting them. And part of the discussion was how to improve soccer and sports in Kuwait. And what I suggested that why don't we try to find places in Kuwait, for example, a company or someone that can found let's say scholarships and find those people, those young people, and put them in schools and scholarships for sports like they have in the States and in other places, and support them that way and have champions, Kuwaiti champions, to affect sports in a better way and improve it.
As you can see, this is the final day of the Liberation Village, and we have the final ceremony about to begin. The Liberation Village Exposium started on Sunday, February 8th, and it's about bringing tradition and modernity together, as well as celebrating the liberation of Kuwait. We hope this event would bring families together, as well as friends, as well as celebrating the different businesses that Kuwait has to offer.
The program included an expo and 3 different symposiums over the period, which touched on women's use of social media, former Kuwaiti military's POW's war experience, and successful stories of Kuwaiti athletes. The event provided a venue for small companies led by young Kuwaiti entrepreneurs to display their products and services, such as designers, young cooks, and others. The final ceremony of the Liberation Village Exposium 2015 here at the American University in Kuwait included various activities from participants. It's a great opportunity which is done by the International Relations Club here at the university. From AUK, this is Salim Kendiri reporting for the English News.
The Kuwait Stock Exchange concluded today's trading with the main stock indices settling on mixed boards as the weighted index read 451.70, up by 1.82 points. The price index went up to 6,689, putting on 5.95 points. Meanwhile, the KSX 15 index settled at 1,101.3 on a gain of 6.43 points. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. His Highness the Emir and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques meet in Riyadh for talks which reflected the strength of Kuwaiti-Saudi relations and the will to foster the GCC. 1 policeman is killed and 3 others are wounded after gunmen attacked a checkpoint near Cairo. Police in Denmark kill a gunman responsible for a pair of deadly attacks. And the UN Security Council draft resolution urges Houthi rebels to cede power in Yemen. Thank you for joining us.